Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for participating. Now, I bet y'all thought that I was talking about a card reading. That's what happens when you don't read the post. So I'm gonna wait for you all to join on, and I will be doing the interpretations of everyone who received their category tonight. So if you are watching and you have received your category, I would need you to comment your name so I know which one I need to be doing for you. Good evening to those who are watching. I'm just going to wait a little bit more because I know, some people. Hi, Shanika. Thanks for joining. All right, I see a few other people on here. If you want your interpretation done, then you're going to have to comment your name. Thank you for Shanika for commenting. So while you guys are watching and not commenting, while you guys are watching, I'm gonna go ahead and explain a few things because, like I said, some of y'all ain't read and you thought I was doing an actual card reading, but I'm actually reading some interpretations for you all from this book right here called The Secret Language of Relationships. Now, if you've been rocking with me for a minute, I did this last year with The Secret Language of Destiny. Now, this book is different because, of course, it focuses on relationships. And if you're not familiar with synastry, synastry is the relationship that is formed when two or more people come together. So you have one person and then you have the other person. These two people have two different personalities. So when you get together with someone, you all's relationship forms a whole nother identity outside of just you two. Who is that? Hey, Misty Smith. Oh, how you doing? Okay, I see you on here. All right. So I'm gonna keep in mind that Shanika and Misty have commented, and those will be the two people that I make sure I do. But yes, going back to what I was saying. So what synastry does is it takes a look at your horoscope, takes a look at your partner's horoscope, and it sees what happens when these two energies come together. This type of synastry happens with all types of relationships. Okay, so it's not just your romantic partner, but it happens with mother and child. It happens with co-workers and other family members like your aunties and your cousins and whatnot. So now that I've explained all of that, I'm going to go into the decans. When it comes to our sun signs, we may act different or carry a different personality than let's just say you are a Aquarius, right? Let's just say you are an Aquarius and you know another Aquarius, but this Aquarius acts nothing like you. They're completely different. That is because each sun sign falls in a different decan. Now there's 3 different decans, and I have to explain this to you guys because when I asked you for your birth dates, I took note of what decan you fall under and what decan your mate falls under because that is very important because that correlates to the personality traits that you two have as individuals. So let's just say you're an Aquarius. Now let me go into my book. Well, let me see what I'm on. I'm on Sagittarius. So I'm just gonna do Sagittarius since that's the section I'm in on the book. Now, you have some Sagittarius that were born in November, right? So the Sagittarius that were born in from November 25th to December 2nd, they fall in the first decan of the sign Sagittarius. So this means anyone born between November 25th and December 2nd, they're going to carry certain characteristics. Now, since I'm explaining it, let me show you the strengths of the people that were born during this particular time period. The strengths of these people is that they're honorable, they're intuitive, and they're responsible. But the weaknesses of these people is that they are over competitive. Okay, they can be impulsive and very temperamental. All right. So with each decan, it breaks down the strengths and the weaknesses, and also goes in full depth of someone born between these dates' personalities. Now, when I flip the page, it's going to go to Sagittarius number 2. Now, these people were born between December 3rd and December 10th. Okay, they were born during the week of the originator. These Sagittarius, this group of Sagittarius is not going to act like that first group of Sagittarius. That's why you can meet people and they don't act. You can meet someone of the same sign and they don't have the same personality as the other person that you may know that's the Sagittarius. Now, again, you have Sagittarius that fall in the third decan. These people were born between December 11th and 18th. These people are going to act different from the Sagittarius that fall in the second category. And last but not least, the last explanation is the people that are on the cusp. You have people that were born between certain dates, so they share 2 zodiac signs. All right. So anyone that was born between December 19th and December 25th shares the zodiac sign of Sagittarius and Capricorn. Those of you who are watching, please hit that thumbs up button for me, please, before we move forward. Please hit that thumbs up. So now that I explained that and I got that out the way, I'm going to go ahead and go into Shanika and Misty's interpretation of their relationship. Before I get into yours, I'm going to do Shanika first. Shanika, you still with me? And make sure you're still on before I go forward. All right, all right. So, okay, Shanika, who's the Aries and who's the Capricorn? Okay, you're the Aries. Okay. So you fall. Now, remember, I was just explaining the decans. You fall in the category of those born under Aries number 2. All right. So you were born during the week of the star. That is the week that you were born in, the week of the star. So your strengths are that you are success oriented, you're courageous and energetic. And your weaknesses is that you can be aloof, you can be irritable, and you may be excessive at times. The people born during the week of the star were born between April 3rd and April 10th. And then your mate, who is the Capricorn, was born in the 3rd decan of Capricorn. And that is the week of dominance. And the reason why I'm explaining this to you again is because when I go to get into the interpretation of everything, it's going to refer to you as Aries 2, and it's going to refer to your mate as Capricorn 3. All right. So I'm telling you this so you will know when I get into the interpretations of everything. And so those who are born between January 10th and January 16th were born during the week of dominance. And the strengths of these people is that they are professional. Okay. They surmount any obstacles that come their way. They know how to maintain. Their weaknesses is that they can be unheeding. They can be outrageous. And sometimes they self-sacrifice too much. All right. So now that I explained all of that to you, I'm going to go into your interpretation, which is flexible structures. And as I get into the interpretation, keep in mind that it's going to go over, it's going to talk about romantic relationships such as marriage. It's just going to highlight family or friendships. And it may also highlight like coworkers. So it's going to explain the way each relationship can be in the different settings. All right. Now, this relationship will be much concerned with uncovering or identifying the structures hidden within it, such as daily routines, rules of morality, or unspoken agreements. It will work most easily when its activities and attitudes are flexibly structured. And love relationships may consequently prove difficult here, since moral expectations are likely to be rigid in this combination. If the tensions this causes can be survived, however, this kind of strictness can actually be a benefit to marital relationships. So if you were looking to marry this person, the type of structure that this relationship offers you would be good for marriage. In any area, the Capricorn 3 tendency to dominate may meet with stiff resistance from an Aries 2, who don't like being controlled and are bound to rebel against the structures this relationship throws up. On the other hand, Capricorn 3s are prone to hero worship, usually a holdover from childhood. And if they come to idolize an Aries 2 star, they may prove less rigid. An adore Aries 2, meanwhile, may be willing to endure a few rules. So basically, it's saying if your Capricorn can learn to see you in a higher light because you were born during the week of the star, then you may be able to put up with some of the structures that Capricorn may exhibit in your relationship. Friendships between these two can be magnificent, sharing mutual ego support and an extroverted stance are characteristics of this non-threatening relationship. Capricorn 3s are highly physical, and an Aries 2 may prove the perfect companion for them in activities ranging from sport and fitness to adventure. Both parties like to push limits, whether their own or the record books. Such rolling back of existing structures gives the relationship both form and an outlet. The danger here may be a propensity to get into trouble, particularly with authority figures or law. Working together, whether it's co-workers or a boss employee pair, is not favored for these two. Now, so when it comes to a working relationship, those born between these dates might not be able to get along. So as you can see, it shows you the different dynamics of each relationship for those who fall between these particular dates. So working together, whether it's co-workers or a boss-employee pair, is not favored for these two, particularly if the Capricorn 3 is especially unyielding. An Aries 2 child, so now it's going into the parent-child relationship. An Aries 2 child will often have to struggle to get out from under an older Capricorn 3 sibling. Okay, so it's talking about siblings. So if this was two people who were siblings, then the Aries child may feel like they have to break from up under their Capricorn sibling, especially if they are the same sex. But if structural modifications in the relationship occur as a result, they would generally prove beneficial. So the advice is to beware of the lure of danger. Breaking the law can become a bad habit. Push physical limits, not moral ones. Make rules flexible and avoid rigidity of thought. So, how do you feel about that interpretation, Shanika? Again, those of you who are watching, please hit that thumbs up button for me. And then, Miss Misty, if you're still on, we're gonna move on to you after Shanika let me know what she thought about that. She said that was definitely them. All right. Well, thank you for letting me read that for y'all. I'm doing this because I'm trying to get, for those of you who like to listen to my readings, I'm trying to get y'all to understand the different dynamics of astrology. Because so many people, they only know their sun sign. And that's cool if that's all you know. But if you only know your sun sign, please get to know what decan you fall under so you can understand uh your position within being. Like Shanika now knows she's an Aries number 2. So now she can do her own research on what an Aries number 2 is. And then she can learn the difference between an Aries number 1 and an Aries number 3. She could also learn the difference of those Aries that might be on the cusp. So, Miss Misty, are you still on? Because if you're on, I'm going to move on to you next. And if anyone else is watching that who I already gave your category to, don't be scared. Because I see y'all watching, but you act like you're scared. Comment. You having a lot of ghost watchers, people who just want to watch and not want to participate. So, all right, Miss Misty. I'm going to do the same thing for you that I did for Shanika. So, which one is the Gemini and which one is the Taurus? Okay, you're the Gemini. All right, let's get into you. So, you fall under decade number 2 for the Gemini. So, you are a Gemini 2. So, you're a Gemini 2, and he is a Taurus 1. All right, give me just a second. All right, so let's talk about you first. You were born during the week of new language. Now, if I was doing a synastry reading private, then I would pull up you guys' horoscopes and I will go over your chart and I'll even read all of this and we'll get deeper into that. But this is just a brief interpretation. So I'm going to keep it brief. So you fall under the week of the new language, and this week is the week of people born between June 3rd and June 10th. Now, your strength is that you know how to communicate. You're communicative. You are competitive and innovative. Your weaknesses is that you got misinterpret, flaky, and disorganized if you're in your lower self. So another thing to this, thank you, thank you, thank you. Another thing to this is it shows you your higher qualities and your lower qualities. Everyone has them. So those are your strengths and weaknesses for people born between June 3rd and June 10th. Now let's go to your mate. They fall under the category of Taurus 1. And their strengths is that they are productive, physically active, and tenacious. Their weaknesses is that they can be stubborn, smug, and they may tend to exaggerate. I really, really wish that I had time to really, read every interpretation as far as the personalities go, because that's what synastry is. It is the combination of your two personalities. But your category was a love of bed and table. So let's get into that. So remember, Misty, you fall under decade number 2 when it comes to the Geminis. So you might want to do your research on that. When you go to searching your sun sign, which is Gemini, throw in a little Google searches for Gemini decan number 2. And I'm going to tell you, let me show y'all how to spell decan or decan, however you want to pronounce it. But let me put that up there for you guys so you know what I mean when I say decan. So if you want to search for your decan, which is decan number 2, Misty, that's something that you should definitely do because, like I was saying to Shaniqua, every sign is different. Even if you meet another Gemini, they're not going to be just like you. All right, so a love, a bed, and table, 331. Characterized by a nearly all-absorbing sensuality, this relationship is likely to be quite unconventional. A certain rebelliousness is inherited in it as the duo pursues the pleasures of food, love, wine, and entertainment, no matter what the cost. Despite this tendency to indulge, or perhaps because of it, when they decide to get down to work or set themselves a task or goal, they cannot be dissuaded until they achieve their aim. In love, Gemini 2s are often drawn to strong, silent types, and Taurus 1s may not have the dark and complex emotional side that can arouse and hold them. This pair may make better spouses than lovers, since the relationship's love of table, bed, and steady, dependable physicality generally finds more fulfillment in a domestic setting than in a romantic one. Taurus 1s will have to become good listeners, however, for Gemini 2's need to be heard and understood. The strikingly new and original forms of verbal expression that are their trademark can prove attractive, but also wearing to a Taurus 1 more interested in forceful action than in glib theorizing. If Gemini 2s can back up their words with deeds and be counted upon to assume daily tasks without complaint, Taurus 1s may find themselves quite happy with this sparkling partner. The sharing of sensual pleasures is unlikely to prove a sufficient basis for friendship in this combination. In fact, these two are likely to be irritated by each other's know it all attitudes. So let's just say, Misty, that you had a friend that was born between, that was a Taurus 1. Then you two may be irritated by one another because both of you guys feel like you know it all. So it says, if this was a friendship with this combination, the two are likely to be irritated by each other's know it all attitudes. Neither will give the other full credit or sympathy. Relaxed and open sharing of intimate problems is not usually in the cards for this relationship, usually due to a lack of deep trust and also a certain amount of competitiveness. Work and family relationships can initially be filled with difficulties and conflict. Gemini 2s are usually much too idiosyncratic in their approach to everyday problems to satisfy the inflexible expectations of Taurus 1s as to how things should be done. Furthermore, Gemini 2s can be terribly critical of a Taurus 1 coworker, parent, or sibling. So if this was a coworker, parent, or sibling relationship, you as the Gemini number 2 may feel like the Taurus was being very critical of you. So it says Gemini 2s can be terribly, so it would be the Taurus that would feel like the Gemini was being critical. So Gemini 2s can be terribly critical of a Taurus 1 coworker, parent, or sibling who may become first defensive, later aggressive under this barrage of blame, finally slinking off hurt or withdrawing completely. So when it comes to like a coworker or a parent and sibling type of relationship, the Taurus, because I said it backwards earlier, it's the Taurus that will feel like the Gemini is too critical of them. So they will become defensive and then they may even become aggressive if this was a co-worker, parent, or sibling type of relationship going on. So the advice for people who fall in this category is to work on sharing, minimize tension. It says talking is not enough. Let what you do show what you think. Let what you do show what you think. Hang in there for the duration. So that was pretty interesting. So, Misty, what do you think about that interpretation? Keep in mind that this stuff is general. It's not taken into account because, like I was saying earlier, if I had your birth chart and your person's birth chart, then we can go a little deeper. But those are my private sessions that I'm offering for anyone that is interested in a private, more in-depth explanation of these type of relationships. Because it really, really helps when you're in a, it really, really helps, period, to understand people's personalities because no one is the same. But when it comes to relationships, whether that's romantic, family member, co-worker, even, somebody that you may meet on the street, every person is different. And if we could understand energies, a lot of people are not really into astrology because they feel like, oh, it's not real, or this is very real. We are mostly water. What they say, like 75% water. So if we have higher heavenly bodies that are above us, which are the planets, when these planets go to orbiting, okay, they let off certain energies because the zodiac falls, each planet will have a zodiac sign in it and certain things. And so when we were born and we took our first breath in, we of that day. I got this book and I read some information on one of my children. I was like, oh my gosh, like this sealed the deal for me. It really helped me to understand why, because I'm already familiar with their birth charts and everything. But when I got this book and read it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is really helping me understand my child. So, and because I like to have understanding when I'm dealing with people. Look at your birth chart, your significant other's birth chart, your on the head, the competitiveness is serious. I have that in my relationship dynamic as well. So, is there anyone else on here who wants to, who I gave out? People that commented. Some of them people that commented don't even fool with me for real. They just said seeing I was doing free reading, so they decided they want to comment. Do something for free. Everybody want to participate then. But yeah. Got your back, ma'am. Wow. I'm interested in seeing what that's about. Let me see. Okay. Same deck, and I know that's interesting combination. All right, let's see. And y'all both Virgos. Can y'all hear me now? I'm gonna wait before I move forward. Can anyone else hear me? And is it breaking up for y'all? I'm waiting on y'all to let me know before I move forward. Oh, man, I ain't miss nobody. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me. What did it say? Your connection is unstable. So, Shertavia, you'll be the I'm gonna put you on the list for tomorrow. I'm gonna just go ahead and get off since it's messing up. I thank y'all all for tuning in and participating and letting me educate y'all a little piece on synastry. Peace, love, and light to y'all. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. I'll be back.